Hey guys, so Jamie here. I'm going to be filming my birth story video right now. Bentley is currently in the walker and he might be pooping. So if you hear some like noises or grunting or talking or crying or scooting around like that, that's him. The dog is also here, so there's also those noises. I did just film my everyday mom makeup routine. So if you see the video of me doing that, and I'm in the exact same shirt, same like look, that's why. Being a mom and being home all day with a dog and a baby is it's a lot harder to film videos and edit them than I thought. Okay, so birth story. So I went in to let's backtrack. So February 2nd was a Saturday, and we had went out to lunch or dinner with my parents and my brother, and I really hadn't felt him move a lot. Normally at that point we were pretty close to my due date. My due date was February 5th and this was February 2nd, so I was really close to the due date. And normally he was moving around a lot and really kicking and like hiccuping and all that stuff. And I really hadn't felt anything. And it was like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, and he still hadn't really moved. And I was laying in bed, trying to roll over, drinking the cold juices and stuff like that, like all like the little things you find on Google that they tell you to do. And I really was just kind of worried. And I was texting my mom, and I was talking to Dylan, and my mom was like, "Well, maybe just go get checked out. You want to be really safe than sorry. Don't want to end up having something happen to him, you know." So I went in and they did like blood tests and they were monitoring his heart rate and contractions. And I was having some like contractions, but they were very, very slim, like really like nothing really. Kind of just like Braxton Hicks at that point, which I'd been having off and on for a while already. And they did an ultrasound, which was crazy to see an almost like 40-week like ultrasound. The baby is huge in there, and it's like whoa, because the other one I had was at 20 weeks, so it's like a whole another 20 weeks of like holy crap. But so they did all that stuff and everything came back really good, and they had hooked me and they had taken me up to like the delivery and labor area, but I was like in the pre-delivery room that they have, which is super tiny, no TV, no nothing. And it was probably about 10 o'clock and they unhooked me, and they're like, the nurse was like, "Yeah, we're gonna let you go." And so I was like, okay. So I was putting my clothes back on, and then she came back in and she goes, "Well, actually, the doctor wanted me to ask if you were okay with being induced." And I was like, "Oh." And she was like, "You haven't felt him move all day, and he just thinks it'd be better to just induce you and get him out." And I was like, "Okay, but I thought you said everything was fine." She goes, "No, everything is fine, but you're so close to your due date anyway, and you haven't felt him move all day, and it's better just to be safe than sorry." And I was like, "Sure." So I was like, "Dylan, call my mom." So she had to leave her house and drive 15 minutes to our house to pick up like all of our bags. So we didn't bring anything. We didn't grab our suitcases that we figured we'd be going home. So she came and picked up all our stuff, and at that time they had moved me into a labor and delivery room and started my and I had to like change, and they started like inducing me and giving me like that stuff and putting the IV in me and then restrapping me all up. And so then my mom got there, came up, had all her stuff. Everybody got situated. It was like 11:30 at night already. And so my mom and Dylan kind of tried to go to sleep, and I was trying to kind of sleep, and I was having some contractions, but they weren't terrible. And they kind of went off and on like that until earlier in the morning on Sunday, like 6 o'clock. They came in and broke my water, and that was very painful. And then after that, contractions were intense and super painful and really uncomfortable, and I was like, I need the epidural. 10 o'clock, the guy came in and they gave me the epidural, which that part sucks because they have you sitting there and you're having contractions, and the way that they have you sit is so uncomfortable anyway, especially when you're having contractions. And you're supposed to like hold still and like hold your breath and then breathe out, and like they're putting like the needle in to numb you, and then they put the needle in, like you have to like trace it up, because now the one that I had anyway, they leave a thing in you and you can push a button every once in a while and it'll like refill in like the epidural medicine. Yeah. And so it was really just like uncomfortable and hard to do. But once I had that, I was pretty comfortable and I could take a nap, and I kind of fell asleep, and they were checking me, and I was stuck at 8 centimeters for quite a while. They popped my water, and then I had the epidural. I got the epidural about 10 a.m. and I was stuck at that point from like, I was a 6 when they gave me the epidural, and then by like noon I was like 8 centimeters, and I was 8 centimeters until like 7 o'clock, and then I slowly started progressing, and by 8 o'clock or 10 to 8 I started pushing, and I pushed from like, once I was like all like set up and they were all ready. It was actually Super Bowl Sunday too, and so I was pushing, and the Super Bowl was on because I told Dylan that he could watch it if we were there, which of course I happened to be there when it was on. And I was pushing while it was on, so that was great. We had been watching it all day pretty much. And so my mom called my dad and my brother and said she's just about to start pushing. I'll let you know when he's almost here and you guys can head up, because they both wanted to come see him. And so I pushed from about 7:55, and he was born at 8:57, so I pushed for like roughly an hour. Holy crap though, if I am pushing for an hour was terrible. Like, it was the worst like hour. Like, it was so painful and so much pressure, and it was just so, I mean, it was so much better because I had that epidural. Yeah, that walking around is him. But it was so much better that when I had the epidural. I'm so glad I got one. But it was a lot. And finally he came out, and I tore in 3 places. So he came out, and they laid him on my chest, and I did skin to skin. And he laid there for a good while. And then Dylan cut the cord, and then they were trying to get my placenta to come out. And so then they took him so I could push my placenta out, because you kind of have to like push it while they kind of pull it out. And so they took him and weighed him and measured him and did all that stuff that they do and cleaned him up a little bit. And Dylan was over there with him, and my mom stayed by me. And I could hear him crying, and they were like talking, and Dylan was telling me that he was all good and everything was okay. So that was nice, because I thought maybe, like, you never know, like something could be wrong, you know, especially because we had been in there and they induced me. But everything was okay. And then they couldn't get my placenta to come out. And so the lady was like, we might have to try and hook it out, or we might have to do an operation if it's not going to come out, because the longer it's in you, the worse it can be. And so I was starting to freak out, because I just had given birth an hour of pushing. Like, it was so well. It went really quickly. I was like, everything was good, and now I'm going to have an operation to get my placenta out. So she's like, well, I'm going to go see if there's another doctor on call that could try to help me get it out. So she went and found another lady. She came in. She was like, hi, kind of talked to me, and I said hi, and I said, can you please try and get it out, because I don't want to have an operation. And so she literally went in there, she told me push, and she pulled it right out, set it on the table, said, I gotta go, I'm delivering another baby here in a minute, and left. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you for this lady who did this, because I did not want to have an operation. So I was so thankful that she was able to get it out. Then after that, they had to stitch me up, and my dad and my brother were on their way. Well, then they got there before I was done being cleaned up and stitched up and everything. So they kind of had to wait. So my mom went out in the waiting room area and like kind of talked to them and showed them some pictures that she had taken. I said that I was getting cleaned up, and then Dylan gave him to me when they were done, because he had been holding him, and so my mom. And then Dylan went and got them all and brought them back in. So then my dad and my brother washed their hands and got to hold him and see him, and they hung out for a good while, and then they left. And then hi. And then they told me that they were gonna wait a little bit, and they asked if I wanted anything to eat, and so I got like some fries and some chicken strips and some, like, because I hadn't eaten since like Saturday night, like dinner time, and it was already like 11 p.m. Sunday, so it had been way over 24 hours. So I was really hungry. So all you can really eat during labor is like popsicles and like stuff like that. So I really hadn't eaten anything, and I did throw up like twice during labor too. And so then I ate like half what they brought me, and I threw it all up because I hadn't eaten, and I had just given birth, and I had all the medicine in me, and so it was just kind of a lot. And so I threw it all up. So I left through their half, and I said, just give me some crackers. So they brought me like saltines and graham crackers, and I ate those. And And then they had me get up and go to the bathroom and put a pad on and like the mesh underwear. And I actually wasn't super sore. They decided to transfer me over. So when I was done, they brought a wheelchair and they grabbed all of our stuff and they put Bentley in the little thing. And we went over to my like post-delivery room. And so then Dylan and my mom kind of watched the baby and I ate the rest of my chicken strips. And then I took a little bit of a nap, and then we kind of like all rotated, and my mom stayed that night as well. And then that was Monday, and I didn't leave until Tuesday, like at lunchtime. So I had been there from Saturday night until Tuesday. So I was there all day Sunday and all day Monday and part of Tuesday, and I wanted to go home so bad. I was getting to like, I just want to leave. I like cried because I wanted to go home. I wanted to get out of there. I did shower twice. And I had a good amount of people come to visit, and it was just really nice. And like Bentley's godmother came and saw him the next day, and it was like a good experience. And it wasn't like anything terrible. I just was so done with being at the hospital, and I wanted to lay in my own bed. The hospital beds are terrible. I wanted to lay in my own bed. I wanted to go home with my baby. I just wanted to leave. But now here he is, 7 months later. Say hi. Go say hi. Crazy long experience, but I'm just glad that everything went okay and you were all healthy and he passed all his test. Yeah, and you were a good boy and now here you are. But if you guys have any questions about anything or if I left anything out, here. If I left anything out or you have any questions about any of it, leave them down below because I'd love to answer them. If I get a lot of questions, maybe I'll do like a little Q&A of some, like, and answer some of the questions that you guys have. But yeah, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and also comment down below some video ideas because we're in need of some. So thanks. See you guys later.